Hi guys, masterscreed here. Welcome to my channel. And in this video, I'm going to take you guys through a very exciting Blitz tournament that I had recently. I think this was around, let's say, midnight, and I was just a bit bored. And I said, let me go online and let's have a tournament. So I'm going to take you through all the games. There were 7 rounds. I think I was positioned third at the end of the tournament. I'll take you through all the games. So let's start with this first one. I'm going to have to be very quick. We had e4, and we have the Scandinavian, obviously, is why I always play against 1e4. And as I've explained in a previous video, I don't like the queen variation. What I've come to find is that after takes, a much stronger line is to go knight f6, and you're constantly putting pressure on that e-pawn, and you're not in a rush to recapture it back. If you go for the queen variation, as we know, usually favors white. Because usually the queen gets chased around. So without further ado, knight f6, knight c3. And here I played c6. You don't want this pawn to be controlling the board. You want to challenge it. And c6 challenges it. He has to take, obviously. Then once he takes, you can decide whether you're going to capture back with the knight or if you want the pawn. Both have their drawbacks and advantages. Now, takes, I always choose to capture with the pawn. Does give me some weaknesses in terms of islands, but because of the aggressive nature of this opening, you do get compensation for that. Now, he plays d3, so he's just naturally developing. I guess he missed the move bishop c4 before that. Usually that's how you're supposed to structure a Scandinavian setup as white. And then later on you bring out your bishop, maybe there or to g5. So anyway, the game continues. Bishop f5. We're just developing, getting our pieces out. E6. E6 should make sense. We create room for this bishop. Sorry, missed those 2 moves. He plays bishop g5. So very natural moves up until now. We connect our knights so that our queen can go and do other things and not have to worry about potentially getting doubled pawns on the f file. So now we bring out our queen. And the whole point of the Scandinavian, especially if you're black, is you got to play very aggressively. You got to get your pieces out, and you got to start attacking much earlier than your opponent, if possible. He castles. We call this a redeployment move. So it's when a piece has already been developed, and you just want to improve its position to a much better square. Here we have more opportunities in terms of getting X-rays. Now he brings his bishop back. This hits our queen, obviously. So we just bring a battery in. This is the Reti battery. When the queen and bishop are in alignment, the knight goes to e4, creating that discovery. We don't worry about it. We just take the bishop. He takes back some natural trades after the discovery. Queen takes, and I want to fast forward to the key position. He plays knight c4, so he's playing quite well actually for his level. Queen c7, and we just wait to pounce on the right moment. Here he plays f4. So starting to expand on the king side, we're not really worried because even if he pushes f5, we can simply take with a pawn and open up lines for our rooks, as you can see, and maybe aim at the queen. So right now, everything is very natural. We develop our pieces to more active squares, and he plays b3. We get a chance to now lift our rook. Whenever you have open files, you have to take advantage of it with the rooks, and that's what we've done. So very natural moves up until now. We trade the knights here. He had some very good maneuvers. Now here is where the mistake came in. He placed the queen on the same line as the rook. So you should immediately see that there's potential for an X-ray attack on the queen. So we just advanced the e-pawn. We've got to try and open that line and get to the queen. Now I was surprised he missed this. Takes, and boom. All of a sudden, the game ends here. He missed the X-ray on the queen. And in fact, he even missed checkmate because now we can deflect the king away from the f-file. Or let's say the connection of the rook. And we have checkmate, and that's how game 1 went. Okay, now let's move on to game 2. Now we won that first game, and obviously, naturally, what comes with it is that your next opponent is probably going to be much higher rated. So now we have a 1400 in this game. And I decided, usually I go e4, and I decided in this game instead I'm going to go d4 and test his, let's say, middle game knowledge. He goes e6, so French. Now, here actually I should have gone e4 and transposed maybe into a Tarish or those types of advanced French openings. And instead, for some reason, I stuck to my Jabova London setup, which is very aggressive. So anyway, bishop b4, bishop f4, very natural moves. And here I was very surprised on this move because he gave up the bishop very early. It does damage our structure a little bit, but that's not really important in the grand scheme of things because his pieces aren't developed enough yet to punish it. So we take back. He plays bishop b6, and obviously we know he's trying to put a bishop there. In response to that, we play f3, and the goal is we want to create some sort of barrier with our pawns. Once this pawn lands on e4, we're going to get another barrier on another barrier square on that e4 square. So gradually, slowly developing. E4 now is naturally the move. So you can see here, this structure really, really weakens this bishop. It's going to have a very hard time on this diagonal. So already we have a much better position right now. He plays h6. A very passive move, I thought. Doesn't really develop anything. We develop our bishop to e3. Natural move. Bishop knight e7. Knight e2. And we're about to castle. Then he goes d5. Very strong move. Challenges our center. We advance. What we don't want to do here, obviously, is to take. Because if we do take, he can take back with a knight, and then he can hit all these weaknesses that we highlighted earlier. All right. So based on that, we just advance and ignore that trade. That move is called a simulated pawn exchange. He castles. And immediately I was thinking of, let's say, battery moves with the queen and bishop. Maybe we can get some sort of ram on this pawn, but that's a plan for later on. For now, let's get our king to safety. Now, this is a trick, actually. F6 is a trick. And the reason it's a trick is that usually players here don't want to play F5 because it walks into E captures F6. And usually this activates our pieces and white gets a much better position. Now, usually what players do instead is that they'll play F6 first, and then once you ignore the trade, let's say you play another random move, like let's say H3, then they'll play F5, and now you can't en passant. You can't en passant because he's bypassed that rule. So we have to take that pawn straight away and sort of neutralize any threats that he might have. We place our bishop now on E5, very natural move. And now we have to start being more active and aggressive. So we bring our knight to G3. He brings his knight to D7, which is still good. F4 takes. We take back with the F pawn, and he takes our queen. Sorry, he takes our rook. We take his rook back. And here's where he started making mistakes. He offered a queen trade. I obviously rejected it. I want to go for checkmate, not an endgame or a drawish position. And immediately this move came to mind. After bringing the rook into the open file, the move that came to mind, obviously, you should see is queen g4, aiming at the king. So we play that straight away, and immediately here, there's a ton of tactics that can arise from this. Anytime you have your king on the same line as the queen, usually it can lead to tactics, no matter how many pieces are in between. So what he should have probably done is probably move the king, and he would have been much safer. So anyway, we play knight to h5, and this is where he lost the game because he missed the tactic, and he resigned, I think, after he saw it. You should be able to see that the queen is x-raying the king. And as a result, this pawn on g7 cannot move once we play knight to f6 check. And that knight to f6 check forks the king and queen. So immediately the game ended at this stage. One thing I've noticed about players at this level is that they're quite solid in the opening, but they tend to get lost and lose their bearings in the middle game or end game. So the game ended here.